Hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, interestingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief, as well as you. That's right. You help bring the Dispatch to the masses, or at least those of you who support the Gaming Gang over on the wonderful Patreon page. I almost said Discord server, which we have one of those too. But if you're interested in our Patreon, there is a link in the show notes. And if you'd like to check out our Discord server, there is a link for that too. So very nice. Anyway, if you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out it's super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. And then we will normally take a first look at a game. Now we might page through a role-playing game book. We might crack open a board game. Who knows? Every once in a while, I pontificate about a topic related to our hobby. We used to do that a lot more on the show. Kind of got away from that because sometimes it felt a little clickbaity at times, unlike Warren Beatty, of course. But anyway, super casual. We're just having fun. We're certainly not engaged in anything along the lines of rocket surgery. That is for sure. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And then, of course, because this is a live show, there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 10 minutes before you can take part in chat. It's another way I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you happen to be a subscriber and have been for 10 whole minutes, you want to say howdy, maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my very best to respond. First out the gate tonight is our good friend of the show, the Madman. Kevin King is also with us, as is Semper Buffo, Kathy Evans, and Michael Berry. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to take a guess. Tonight's chat will be relatively quiet because I have been off for a week, which actually turns out to be more than a week because I do the 3 streams every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it was actually Friday through yesterday. So pretty wild. It was a nice little hiatus. Although if you have followed what's going on here on the Gaming Gang channel, you know there has been loads of content which has popped up, including today's review of the One Ring, Realms of the Three Rings from Free League Publishing. This hit stores today. This had an embargo on it. That's why you did not get to see the review until today. But I do like it. Definitely check it out if you are interested in either the One Ring or the Lord of the Rings role-playing, because Keeper of the Elven Rings is the same content, just statted for 5e. So there is that. I would also take a guess that we might have the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D lurking in the shadows tonight. I see Wallona's Cave and Sean O'Donnell are both popping on in to join us. Welcome to you both. All right. So lots going on, lots to talk about, but we're going to dive on into the news because we've got a nice eclectic mix tonight. First of all, Wyrd Games has begun the playtesting for the 4th edition of the Malifaux Miniatures game, and I've got the skinny. You've been with Wyrd Games through the deep, dark, soulstone mines of 1st edition, out into the bloody streets of 2nd edition, and finally ventured with them into the vast wilds of 3rd edition. With each step, the game is built on the editions before it, making 3rd edition the best iteration yet. Through it all, Malifaux has always emphasized putting fate directly into the hands of the players. Now, Wyrd Games asks you to pull on those threads of fate once again by joining the Malifaux 4th edition open beta. The plan is to begin the open beta, which actually kicked off this week, I should point out. I think it started yesterday. And it's going to run for the next several months, and it'll be finalized with the new edition by Gen Con 2025. I don't know if that means we're going to see a physical book at Gen Con or if it's just going to be done by then. Wyrd Games are incredibly excited for you to see the additions they've made, from the new evoking encounter style of schemes to the more fluid integration of terrain into the game. For now, know that the heart and soul of Malifaux remains the same. You still have a fate deck, which you can use to cheat your way out of all but the most dangerous situations. Hidden objectives, bluffing, and strategic play remain core pillars. What's great about 3rd edition has been distilled down and added to with fresh, engaging mechanics. One aspect of the game they felt ripe for improvement was the playtime. It's not uncommon for casual games of Malifaux 3rd edition to last 4 hours or more. A major goal of 4th edition was to reduce that playtime to 2 hours. And Wyrd Games is proud to say that all the testing so far shows they've succeeded. While the pace of play is faster, they've also found that the game remains just as tactically deep and engaging, and they can't wait for you to experience it. Do want to mention right now, you can download the beta rules absolutely free, and I do believe there's a beta deck that comes with it as well. Wallona's Cave with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Says thank you for your consistent content. My good pal from high school, Scott Weigel, is joining us once again. Good to see Scott, and I do see that Robert Santon is also popping on into chat. So we've actually got a bit more of a rockin' and rollin' chat than I expected tonight. So very nice, very cool. So once again, if you want to check out the upcoming 4th edition playtest for Malifaux, give it a peek. I would love to get more miniatures content out there in front of the gang because I like miniatures. In fact, it's kind of funny. I just saw some minis on Amazon. Somebody had posted it, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was over on X. It was somebody I followed that posted, and they look like they are pretty solid as far as the detail. They are like, I think they're like a mix of PVC and plastic. And they're something like 45 miniatures for $65. And I don't know, I might take a deeper look into that, maybe even share that as a news piece later on this week. Like I said, I would like to get more miniatures content out there. And once my nephew returns from his training, then maybe we could dive into some painting, because he's been experimenting with it. But he's got his NCO training that he's off for, I think, like 6 weeks. So he won't be back until, I think, the end of May right now. All right, moving right along. The Singularity campaign for the Traveler role-playing game has launched for Mongoose Publishing, and I've got the scoop. A powerful alien mind. Thousands of years ago, a godlike alien intelligence was found floating in a derelict ship, lost in the depths of a stellar abyss. Now trapped in an Imperial research station, Nalir has woken, and it wants the travelers' help. The year is 1105, the golden age of the Third Imperium. Commerce flows between worlds. There is peace on all fronts, and the realm looks to expand at its burgeoning frontier. However, despite appearances, all is not well. The vast interstellar territory has become unmanageable. Separatists sow unrest from within, and external enemies surrounded on all sides. Conspiracies are brewing that will bring the entire empire to its knees. Imagine the opportunity to change it all falls right into your lap. The travelers are given the means to alter the course of history and redirect the momentum of a 1,000-year empire. Technology is at the core of this campaign, and the next great age of advancement lies before the travelers. Singularity is an epic campaign that takes your travelers to places they never imagined they would or could go. The throne world of capital, the vast archives of reference, and the opulent worlds of the Sicilian main. As the campaign kicks into high gear, they travel by means never thought possible, leaving the core behind for the distant reaches of charted space. Coming in 3 stunning hardbacks, Singularity delves into the ethics and implementation of artificial intelligence, the nature of humanity, and how these might coexist and change perception of reality. There is a short Kickstarter video. It's about 2 minutes in length, so let's give it a peek.
Wake, my friends. Wake from your sleep. The time of dreaming has come to an end. It is time to awaken. I have traveled long and far to be among you, to know your ways and learn from you. I have seen your empires rise and fall. I have seen your struggles, your achievements, and wars. Too long have you wandered in the fog. I shall be your lantern, guiding you to a better way. The time for change has come. Are you prepared? I am Nalir.
Traveler, the Singularity campaign funded on Kickstarter in its first 37 minutes. You can reserve a copy of the 3 hardcovers with PDFs for a pledge of approximately $160, or you can reserve just the PDFs for a pledge of approximately $93 through May 17th. Expected delivery is October for the PDFs, with the hardcovers to follow in January 2026. Very cool. This looks really interesting. I think they're kind of setting this campaign way off in the far reaches of charted space so that if you don't pick this up, you don't have to worry about it as far as your Mongoose Traveler campaigns. It's kind of the impression I've got, sort of. Not sure positively or not. Although I have to point out, how many of you thought when that figure appears in the video, it's like, oh my gosh, is that going to be Seth Skorkowski? I swear I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to have Seth Skorkowski in this. And it was like, oh, I guess not. All right. So Kevin King is mentioning that the audio is coming out only in mono. All right, let me see what's going on here. Yeah, you know, it was weird because so there was this pretty massive Windows update, and I had noticed that it had actually screwed up the audio on OBS. In fact, I recorded, I want to say it was 2 reviews I recorded, and I recorded one, and then I saw, oh, there's an update. So I did the update, and then I recorded 2 more. And the video that I did before the update had audio, and then the 2 afterwards had no audio. And I was like, son of a... So of course I had to reshoot them. So let me take a look here. See what's going on. Let's see. So the question I've also got is, will this actually change in the middle of the stream? I don't know. I don't know if this will actually do anything, because it looks as if the video microphone, the microphone here, I don't think it's going to change it. No, it is not. Damn it. Well, I could roll the dice, stop the stream, and then pick the stream up within a minute, and it should put it with the same stream, but chat would actually disappear. So that is, yeah, once again, it is a Microsoft thing that screwed up with it. So I guess that means that the reviews that I shared are going to be in mono too. Damn it. Oh well. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any way that I can change this. Okay, well, sorry, gang. Looks like you're gonna be stuck with the mono as far as the stream here. Yeah. I tell you. It's funny too, because I talked about this before, where we'll see Microsoft does an update to Windows and then it screws stuff up, and you have absolutely no clue that things have been changed. You're like, oh, okay, well, everything's normal, I guess. Yeah, right. Toothless and Agile Monk are with us in chat, and Agile Monk with the $20 super chat. Thank you very kindly. Says some love for the actual channel so that YouTube will utilize it for the algorithm. I don't know. I don't know what they do with the algorithm. Michael Berry has joined us. Says, been waiting for this Traveler campaign for some time. Actually, it starts in the core systems right in the middle heart of the Empire. I understand that, but I think the player characters end up having to travel off way out in charted space. I don't know. I mean, I have no clue, but I would think that it would probably be in Mongoose's best interests to not, radically change things, or to make it where, oh, well, if you're going to run Traveler from here on out, you must own this campaign. So there you have it. Roger Perdoman, Kevin R. Smith are popping on into chat. Welcome to you both. Let's move right along, because there is a bundle of holding which is teamed with Sigil Stone Publishing to present a money-saving OSR offer. Yes. And I've got the deets on the deal. Adventurer. We've resurrected our January 2022 Sigil Stone OSR bundle with 2 tabletop fantasy role-playing games from, you guessed it, Sigil Stone Publishing. 5 Torches Deep and Vagabonds of Dyfed that combine old-school revival ideals from the hobby's earliest games with the best of modern 5th edition compatible and Apocalypse engine rules. With the simplified character options and class abilities in 5 Torches Deep, 5e players and dungeon masters can move smoothly to an old-school style where magic is perilous and wild, torches and food are tracked, injuries can be brutal, and every decision can matter a lot. Vagabonds of Dyfed brings classic OSR action to indie gamers with a cut-down and streamlined powered by the Apocalypse mechanic. And it's a snap to run your favorite old dungeon crawl modules with either system. For just $14.95, you'll get all 11 titles in this revived offers Sigil Stone collection, which has a retail value of $72 as DRM-free ebooks, including the complete 5 Torches Deep rulebook, the newly added region sourcebook Hyphane Peaks, and 5 more supplements for 5 Torches Deep. Duels, Homesteads, Origins, Stealth, and The Vault, the Vagabonds of Dyfed rulebook, and 2 supplements, the Vagabonds Cyclopedia and Stunheim, the Siege of Deep Nell Hold, and the Dark Sun-inspired campaign setting, Dortoka, City on the Sea of Glass. These savings run through May 1st. Always heard good things about 5 Torches Deep. Curious, kind of curious. Pretty good deal. You can jump on in there pretty cheaply, and it looks as if you're going to pick up a good chunk of what's available for 5 Torches Deep, as well as a Vagabonds of Dyfed. Pretty sweet. Moving right along, coming soon from Exalted Funeral is Old Moon. And I've got the lowdown on this new RPG. What were the Middle Ages like on an alien planet? Survive enchanted and extraterrestrial medieval adventures in the bizarre world of Old Moon, where ancient tales of sword and sorcery take on an orbital twist. What is Old Moon? Old Moon is the extrapolation of the question, what were the Middle Ages like on alien planets? It's a role-playing game that blends easy-to-learn old-school rules with a rich and detailed setting on the strange moon of Exion. Despite its extraterrestrial setting, Old Moon is not about galactic travel, high technology, or science fiction. Instead, Exion is currently in a period akin to our own Middle Ages, but with its own unique quirks, species, and cultures. Old Moon features 5 unique species for character creation, over 200 new creatures in the bestiary, with rules to create more, a complete setting with 19 different biomes filled with quest hooks, lore, locations, and factions, design tools for dungeons, wilderness exploration, and hex crawls, countless tables for judges to run games, OSR-inspired system with new rules for characters, species, exploration, survival, combat, and more. The 300-plus page A5 size hardcover is going to carry an MSRP of $50. Currently, there's no release date as of yet. I'm guessing it's May. But if you are intrigued, you can sign up to be notified over at Exalted Funeral. So yes, looks kind of interesting. Yeah, kind of odd, right? So it's not really supposed to be science fiction. Maybe a little science fantasy. It's the medieval era on an alien planet. So kind of weird. Madman says that Discord had an update recently that caused their laptop to crash when they turned their camera on. That's weird. I tell you. All right, let's move on to our final news piece, because now available in print and PDF from DMDave is The Shadow over Innsmouth. And here's what I know. Dive into the chilling depths of The Shadow over Innsmouth, a thrilling adventure compatible with 5th edition and Black Flag role-playing, which to the uninitiated is Tales of the Valiant. Inspired by the H.P. Lovecraft classic, this retelling transports players to the eerie town of Innsmouth, where dark secrets and deeper terrors await. Featuring 3 new monsters and an intense dungeon-crawling experience within the Temple of Dagon, adventurers will navigate a labyrinth of puzzles, deadly traps, and moral dilemmas. Whether you're initiating the new Dravonia setting or integrating this into your existing campaign, The Shadow over Innsmouth promises a gripping narrative filled with suspense and supernatural horror, perfect for both new and seasoned players looking to explore a story of mythic proportions. This adventure is meant as an introduction to the Project Black Flag rule set. Even if you don't have access to the Project Black Flag rule set, this adventure can easily be played with traditional 5th edition rules. Whenever new rules from Black Flag appear, the text offers notes on how to convert those into 5th edition play. The 30-page softcover carries an MSRP of $14.99 over at DriveThruRPG. If you'd like to grab the PDF, it is pay what you want. So you can check out the PDF absolutely free if you would like to. So there is that. Pretty sweet, pretty nice. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG and the gaming gang. Thus, the Dispatch is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit DriveThruRPG, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, Wargame Vault, any of those One Bookshelf sites, please stop by gaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do go a long way to keeping the gaminggang.com around. Of course, if you like the video, and if you like the Gaming Gang, maybe you feel that it's a valuable resource, maybe you enjoy hanging out, watching the live shows, then by all means, help support the Gaming Gang over on our Patreon. There is a link to our Patreon in the show notes. Should also mention we've got a Discord server. There is an invite link in the show notes for that as well. Do want to give a big shout out to those folks who are supporting the Gaming Gang at $10 or more a month. It is the Madman, Dan Webb, Tessie Trekkie, and Tier 2 DM. Thank you very kindly. Do want to mention the Madman is getting a copy of Tales of Argosa in PDF, because if you support the Gaming Gang at $25 a month or more, you will actually receive a PDF of one of the role-playing games that we've tackled that month. So there is that. Very cool. Very cool. So stay tuned. The Madman, you will have an email heading your way with the details of how you can download that. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So once again, sorry that we are in mono, only coming out one channel right now. That was an update from Windows that I was not aware of. I thought when I fixed the audio from the Windows updates that it was in stereo. Here's something else that's kind of a pain in the ass. OBS Studio, which is what I use to stream and actually record my videos, they had an update, and they used to actually show your recording levels for audio right there. So if you were recording and there was no sound, you'd see it right away. Now they've changed it. Now they split it off where it's like, okay, so here's the video with whatever overlays and things like that you've got cooking. And then if you want to see what the audio is, you got to click on the audio button. It's like, why? It's like, seriously? Really? You had to change that? Why? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So that was a peek at the news for today. Don't forget, we are going to be diving on in and taking a first look at Hudson Brand for the Gaslight era Call of Cthulhu in just a few moments. This is from Stygian Fox. So I know some folks might be tuning in to take a peek at that. I wanted to let you know what's been cooking. So because I have, well, what was our last show? Was it like on the 10th or something like that? I think it was the 10th. And then I took a week off, which turns out to be more than a week, right? So anyway, so I had a stress test on the 15th. So I went and I didn't even bother getting on the treadmill because I knew that would just be a disaster. Because the last time I did a stress test, they put me on the treadmill and I couldn't get my heart rate up high enough. So I just said, hey, you know what? You've got the injection, just give me the injection. So that's what they did. So I just 4 hours of hurry up and wait. So then I got the results back. And of course, it was all in medical terminology. So I had no clue what it meant. And it read pretty daunting, right? So I figured, well, either my cardiologist or a nurse is going to contact me and let me know, what is the translation of this. So a couple of days went by and I thought, well, if it was something, crucial, they would have called me by now. And 3 days went by, I got an email and it basically said that my cardiologist had looked over everything. You could see, the damage from the heart attack I had, but didn't look like there was any new heart disease or any new blockages that were going on. So just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, okay. All righty. So that's good. That's kind of cool. Although, strangely enough, I'm thinking I might be getting like a detached retina in my eye here, which is kind of weird. I have like a floater that won't go away. And then when I kind of move my eye in certain directions, I almost get like a little flash here. It's like, how the hell did that happen? Don't you have to get like smacked in the head or something to detach your retina? I don't know. So I was wearing glasses for the past few days. So we'll find out. It doesn't hurt or anything, and my vision's okay. It's just got this, like I said, there's a weird floater that's just, as I move my eye around and go, it's over here. I see it. It's like, get out of here. Go away. Get off me. Get off of me. Also, those of you who were wondering about my vehicle situation, I took a loan out from my dad. I had to bite that bullet. And I got myself a 2010 Subaru Forester. So, and it's got just under 90,000 miles. Sarah D asked, did your car smack you in the head when it knocked your head off and tried to scalp you? Not really. I mean, it like did that. But I mean, this just has started within the past few days. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it's, getting old sucks. It's weird. 1 minute you're like, do. And then the next minute it's like, hey, my leg fell off. What the hell? What's going on here? Death Angel Shadow is with us in chat. Says they're pointing out that they've heard good things about the Subaru Forester. Yes, especially that year. I was trying to aim for a Toyota of a certain period from like 2006 to 12-ish. But sadly enough, not finding anything. This actually is really good shape. No rust. Well, okay, I take that back. There's a little bit of rust. And it seems like there is a little bit of an oil leak. So I'm going to have to take that in and have it take a look at it. But all in all, yeah, it's what I could afford. So that's what I got. Last thing I wanted to mention is I have been doing some tweaking on the website. Now, I haven't been tweaking myself personally. I've been tweaking the website. So I've been going through and making sure that all of our reviews have the same format. Wow, what a pain in the ass. It's like the first 250 or so were pretty simple because the website had a certain format for quite a long time now. But when I get back to about 2021, things change. It's like, damn, now I got to do new thumbnails. But I figured, we've got over 1,500 reviews. Probably be a good idea if they were all formatted identically. So there is that. All right. That's what's been cooking. Nothing too exciting. And of course, if you've been paying attention, I have had lots of reviews to share with you. I finished up the reviews of the Reforged edition of Castles and Crusades. You can see Monsters and Treasure right back there. I've got all of those done. I'm still going to get my review of the Hermit out there. And I have reached out to Wyrd Games, see if we can get a few more things to get reviews out there for. So hopefully we'll see that. They've got that starter set that's on the horizon that I would love to check out. It's got a new art style too, which looks pretty cool. The art style looks very inviting to gamers of all ages, I guess is how I would present that. So I am kind of curious about that. But also got my NPC core review for Pathfinder. I've got the new issue of Carcass Crawler reviewed. Lots of stuff. So it was not like I was just sitting around doing nothing while I was on my little mini hiatus. Kevin R. Smith said, found out good news today. Wyrd Games is going to be at Catacon, their local convention. Sweet. Very cool. Is it going to be Chuck? Is Chuck going to roll out there and do some, well, it's not really demos. It's just, he's just running adventures. Very nice. Very cool. Hey, that reminds me, I don't know if you noticed this or not. Maybe I mentioned it. I think it was official before I went on my break. I am going to be a special guest at the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. And they are going to have me on their stream this Friday. Supposed to have me on the stream this Friday, which I think airs at 7:30 Central. So once I know more about that, I will share a link. Would love to have somebody who pop in. Get a little, home field advantage there, right? Get some of the folks who hang out and chat popping on in. That would be pretty nice. Like to see that. So, all right. Anyway, that's kind of everything. I guess, we could talk about Greater Than Games closing its doors because of tariffs. I know that Stonemaier Games has joined a lawsuit. I don't know what the lawsuit is because they haven't revealed what it is, but there is a lawsuit being filed against the Trump administration because, according to Stonemaier Games, the tariffs are going to cost them $1.5 million addition to what they've spent. It's like, wow. So Kevin Smith says they don't know. They're going to have a booth. Well, if they're going to have a booth, they'll be running games. I will tell you that. Now, who would be running the games? I don't know. But yeah, that's cool. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. I'm kicking around maybe going to Gamehole Con again. It's just the budget. I mean, the budget has been blown up. So I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to pull off Gen Con. But anyway, but I would like to go up to Gamehole Con again. Hey, I can always sleep in the Forester. It's an SUV. And it's funny, Elliot Miller, my best friend, said, hey, welcome to the 21st century. Because the old car was a 94. So I'm like, yeah, I know. Kevin R. Smith says, new version of Gloomhaven is stuck in China until the tariff situation gets finalized. I have heard a few manufacturers doing that. Stonemaier Games also said, whatever product they have that's slated for the United States is going to sit in China. And their European orders in that are going to ship out. But anything that was slated to hit the U.S. ain't going no place, Dooley. Yeah, I know. Troy Cornelson is with us. Cornelson, welcome aboard. I believe it's a first-time visit for Troy. I don't recognize the name, so make yourself comfortable. Kevin R. Smith said that's something like what their cousin said when they got a 2022 car with all the new bells and whistles. Yeah, well, driver's side airbag is a bell and whistle I didn't have before. Tessie Trekkie also points out Dolmenwood. I always want to say Dolanwood, but it's Dolmenwood is also delayed. I heard about that. And I heard people are getting really ticked off because it had been delayed prior already. Flint Fireforge is also joining us in chat. Welcome aboard. All right. So we're going to dive on in and take a look at Hudson and Brand in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Everybody loves pizza, the worldwide taste treat. And no one makes more delicious pizza than you'll get at our snack bar. Pizza, please. It's freshly baked to your order, served crisp and piping hot, skillfully prepared with a delicious combination of mozzarella, provolone, and Romano cheeses. In our full individual size, with our deluxe sauce that's lip-smacking good. Yes, everybody loves pizza. Join the crowd headed for the snack bar, where everybody orders that delicious, wholesome, taste-tempting pizza.
Gobbledygook. What's its face? Whatchamacallit. Whatever it is, whatever it was. Chocolatey chocolate. Whatchamacallit. How's it go? Wows and do. Chew-gooey caramel. Whatchamacallit. Doohickeys. You know what I mean. Peanutty crispies. Chewy, chocolatey, crunchy, do that. Let's get 'em a ring. More than a mouthful. It's whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit.
Did you put a note in that bottle last week?
Sure I did.
What'd you say?
I said send us more Wilkins coffee.
In a world of terror and timelessness. Sorry, I'd be way more concerned about the terror. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that movie. But then on the other hand, when I think they're androids, when the hand grabs that one character actor's ass. For some reason, I seem to remember that. So maybe I have seen that. I should also mention before we jump on in, taking a look at Hudson and Brand, if you have not checked out the Atomic Snack Bar, I've brought this channel up before. Give it a peek, because the host of that channel tackles movies like that, and very entertaining, very cool, and it's not overly serious either. But yeah, it's one of my favorite channels on YouTube. So if you have not checked out the Atomic Snack Bar, give it a peek. Give it a peek. I think you'll like it. Tessie Trekkie says the truly annoying thing about Dolmenwood is that they're using local European and Australian friendly shipping. So there's really no reasons for Trump's tariffs to delay those containers. See, as far as Necrotic Gnome goes, I don't really deal with them. I deal with Exalted Funeral because that's their distributor here in the U.S. and never have any issues with them. They're always very cool and sending goodies along for us to check out, like The Molt, which we just recently took a peek at. And I will have my review of that Monty Python role-playing game in the not too distant future. Flint Fireforge says 46 more years to go and this awesomeness will happen. Fingers crossed for 2071. All right, so tonight we are going to dive on in. We are going to take a peek at Hudson and Brand, Inquiry Agents of the Obscure from Stygian Fox. This 154-page hardcover with PDF can be had over at DriveThruRPG for $59.95, or you can grab just the PDF alone for $19.95. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Hudson and Brand. I have to mention, I also have the curator edition of the book. So Stephanie McCallie sent this as well as this and 3 adventures. I believe they're adventures for the Hudson and Brand setting. This is the newest, the Taus Hum, which I actually shared a news piece the week before I went on my hiatus. So this actually looks to be the same like page count and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with the curator edition. Maybe it's a different paper stock, but paper stock kind of felt the same. So I don't know. And it new. As far as Stygian Fox, they have released a lot of really good modern Call of Cthulhu adventures and adventure collections and campaigns over the years. I know they kind of a little bit of I don't want to say like a falling off, but they had issues with their website and all this other stuff. So they've kind of been out of the spotlight for a bit, but they do have a new website. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, Hudson and Brand has been out for a while, but it's kind of gaining some new eyes on it because of the Call of Cthulhu Gaslight releases that I have reviewed very recently. So I was lucky enough to receive this from Stygian Fox, but of course, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you, and that is important for you to know. Of course, obviously, we're not going to look at each and every page of this. I do want to give you a good feel for what's inside. I do believe we do have some adventures in here also. I'm pretty sure that we have a review of Hudson and Brand from years back when it first came out. I think Sammy did the review of it, but I am going to provide my review. So just taking a look at the back here, Hudson and Brand is a consulting detective agency in the style of the extravagant freelancers such as may be found in the stories of the great Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot. However, instead of being a source for the investigators to plumb for information whenever the situation gets too tough or if they need a nudge in the right direction, it is somewhere they can actually inherit, utilize in their own investigations, or use as a safe haven from the outre horrors of the outside world. It is a starting platform, if you will, for adventures into the dark and fog-shrouded streets of mythos-infested London. This book will also detail a number of supplementary characters that may be of some use to the investigators. After all, even Holmes occasionally sought the help of his Baker Street irregulars. There will be various roles and occupations which may be perfectly suited to working out of the small lodgings at 33 Golden Square, Soho, and these will be presented as player options. There's also equipment, resources, and information to be found at the property, both mundane and obscure. We'll look into the history of the agency, its creators, and their end. Many scenario seeds will be spread throughout the book, remarking upon certain items found within the walls of the office, and especially through the focus of the previous case files of Hudson and Brand. Diesel Shot is with us in chat. Welcome aboard. All right, so let's dive on in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at the credits page because there are a lot of folks worked very hard to bring this to life. I think there's supposed to be a second edition of Hudson Brand sometime in the not too distant future, or a follow-up to it. But I guess there's been some delays that have taken place. All right, so taking a peek at our contents here. So we got the world of Hudson and Brand, beginning of the agency, the early years, the prime years, later years. And it looks like that's going to take us through the first 46 pages. And then it appears that we're going to get into some details about the locale itself. And then that looks like that's an adventure. That's an adventure. That looks like we've got some NPCs, equipment. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So here's our introduction. Some keepers may think that inheriting a property such as this may be handing their player characters a little too much when they first start out. That is why this agency is best suited to player characters that already know each other and who can operate as a cohesive unit. The aims of this book is to create a place where NPCs can seek help and lead players into adventure, and where all the PCs can gather to discuss the case and guard each other while they rest. Cool. I have to say, visually, pretty impressive. So here's the world of Hudson and Brand. And one thing I will mention from my experience taking a peek at some of the Stygian Fox releases over the years, they're not going to back away from some of the more touchy subjects from this period, such as imperialism, racism, things like that. So at least that's been my experience as far as Stygian Fox, especially like with their modern adventures and that. They may not necessarily go to the extremes that we see with some of the Delta Green adventures, but they dive on in. They get their hands dirty. That's for certain. Some pretty wild adventures. I'm trying to remember. There's one collection, something like Sharp Little Needles or something it's called. If I remember right, I think Sammy reviewed that and thought it was pretty cool. So here we're getting a history of Hudson and Brand. So kind of along the lines of like Holmes and Watson, or Watson and Holmes, wherever you'd want to go and present that. So we're getting their cases. Just getting some background on that. I think the way the player characters inherit this location and this business, this consulting detective agency, is that Hudson and Brand are killed on a mission. I think that's what happens. So we're still looking at some of the various different cases. I don't know about you folks, but this is looking really cool. I'm liking this. It's got a nice visual style to it. And it's easy to read. I'm not having any issues with that. Because if you had checked out my reviews of the Castles and Crusades Reforged editions, the one knock I've got on all three of the books is they've utilized this background. It's a green kind of splashed background, and it's a little too dark. And the print gets lost in it sometimes. Maybe it's just my eyesight, but so here we've got the old cooperage. So this is some locales here. Oh, okay. So this is one of the adventures. I was going to say, why are we seeing these different floor plans? Now we know. So it's like we've got a few here. So this is designed for 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. So this came out, I think this is 2017, 18, somewhere around there. Now, of course, this is not necessarily in lockstep with the Cthulhu by Gaslight releases, which is fine. That's no big deal. Death Angel Shadow says, hey, this is a very nice looking book overall. Like the style. So do I. It's not overwhelming with artwork, but we've got a bit. So here's populating London. You know what I'm going to do? I want to go back. Let me see. Where was Golden Square and its environs is 48. I'm going to take a peek. Here we go. So this is a breakdown of the location. The lodgings at 33 Golden Square are in Soho, near to the very heart of the capital of the most modern and prosperous empire that the world has seen to date. There you go. Make London great again. Fashionable without being ostentatious, it is well cited for transportation, culture, and all the many comforts that a gentleman living in London, what about gentlewoman? Come on, might desire. So we get the facilities, breakdown of the different rooms, upstairs and downstairs. There we go. Very nice. We get the layout, the floor plans, essentially all keyed. Sweet. That's what I was kind of looking for. That's why I jumped back here. So Razvan is with us in chat. I believe this is a first-time visit with us live in chat. So welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us tonight. Says the Penny Dreadful homages are plentiful. I can see that. Yes. So this is just some keeper-facing info about London. We get a Victorian name generator. That's cool. Some of our weapons, our weapon tables. I would think that this should slide right on in as far as the recent Cthulhu by Gaslight volumes. Now, yeah, there might be a little bit of conflict between, like, say, weapons and stuff like that. Some of the statted items in that. But for the most part, I just think that they would both build on each other very nicely. It's like we're getting some maps here. Yeah, looks like maps of London. Well, okay, so I have to be honest here. I don't know. That's a lot of page space just devoted to the Bacon's new map of London. I think I would have rather seen another adventure in here. Bradley Thorpe says, hey, Jeff, I have to say that I can understand the appeal of Call of Cthulhu, but it's just one genre of horror that's very confusing. I'm not sure what's confusing about it. So, Bradley, by all means, let me know in chat. Okay, so here we've got the Illustrated Thames Sentinel, an unbridled night of violence in the capital. Is this supposed to be a handout? No, maybe not. I was going to say, maybe that's supposed to be a handout for the players with one of the cases. Maybe, maybe not. Huffman's gripe water for all disorders of infants and young children. All babies like it. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. It's a little baby grabbing on two snakes. Looks like these are some fate cards. And then pre-gen characters. So I've got quite a few of these. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I would necessarily need all of these. It seems like there's quite a few. I wonder if these are important NPCs from the adventures. No, it doesn't look like it, because we get backstory and stuff like that. So I think these are made to be pre-gen characters or NPCs that you can utilize. Bradley Thorpe says, it's just that Lovecraftian adventures have always confused them. It's the aspect of the Victorian era that's very confusing. There you go. Razfan says, Hercules strangling the snakes. I don't know what's confusing. Is it the cosmic horror aspect? So, as Kevin points out, Lovecraft stories are set in the 20s and 30s, not the Victorian era. So that's an important item to make note of. So it looks like we've got a blank character sheet for Hudson and Brand. Nice. Now we've got Kickstarter backers. All right, so that is a peek inside Hudson and Brand, Inquiry Agents of the Obscure from Stygian Fox. And as I mentioned, I will have a review of this pretty quick, because I'm going to actually start reading this because I am intrigued. I am quite interested. This just looks really, really cool. If you're curious, let's take a quick peek. Since we got a little bit of time, let's take a peek at the adventures. I'm not going to take too deep a dive into these because I do plan on sharing a video where we'll probably take a look at all three. So maybe that'll be next month. Death Angel Shadow asks, what's the must-have stuff? Get started with Call of Cthulhu. I would recommend pick up the starter set. Get the starter set. It's got a lot of adventure content in it. It's also got a solitaire adventure for you to kind of, as a keeper, to kind of introduce you to various important mechanical concepts. And it's inexpensive. It is not expensive at all. I think the starter set's like $29.99, somewhere around that. If you get it in PDF, taking a guess, maybe $14.99, if even that much. So, all right. So this is Zener and the Sins of Saint Sonara. Just taking a peek here. I believe this is also available through DriveThruRPG. So it looks as if we're kind of going along with that same sort of presentation as we saw with the core book. Also, kind of a Penny Dreadful look to the proceedings as well. So it looks like we've got some handouts, some maps, floor plans. Very, very interesting. Yes. Nice. So that is that. Then we got Nightmare on the Necropolis Express. So this is going to be taking place in London. And I've always found that to be really bizarre, the Necropolis. If you're not familiar with it, Google it. And the train that would run out there. Pretty wild. Okay, so breakdown of the mystery, the graveyard and the monster. There you go. Out now. New Tales of the Miskatonic Valley, 2nd edition. Stygian Fox has a lot of content out there. They really do. Got quite a few people popping on into chat. We got John Snyder. Chris Lundgren is with us, giving us an update on his mom. Looks like she's in rehab. She had a brain hemorrhage on the 9th. Good to hear that. Nice to hear that your mom is recovering. So all the best. Just taking a peek at this. So here's some of our NPCs. So we get a breakdown of one of the cars. Yep, that's what it looks like there. The hearse carriage. All right, so that is Nightmare on the Necropolis Express. And then this is the House Hum, which, as I mentioned, is the newest. I actually shared a news piece about this not too long ago. Just taking a real quick peek on through. Like I said, I'm going to do a live show where we'll take a bit of a deeper dive into all 3 of these. So stay tuned for that. All righty then. So that was a peek inside Hudson Brand Inquiry Agents of the Obscure from Stygian Fox. Once again, the 154-page hardcover with PDF is available over at DriveThruRPG for $59.95. If you want to just grab the PDF, you can do so for $19.95. Sweet. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so what's cooking the rest of this week? Well, tomorrow, we're going to take a peek at Doomlings. I'm trying to remember who this was from. Yeah, for some strange reason, it doesn't have, I'll double check my email. It doesn't actually have a publisher on it. It has the creators, but I thought this was from a company. So we are going to take a peek at this. This is a card game, and it is somewhere on a doomed and distant planet. Life has emerged, competing for dominance until the world's inevitable destruction. So it's a feel-good sort of experience. Score points by playing traits of your Doomling species, making them more adaptable, resilient, and mischievous. Play traits across multiple rounds called ages, but be warned, hidden in the ages are catastrophes, special rounds that befall the planet, forcing you to adapt your strategy until the end of the world. So we're going to take a peek at this. And then we're going to dive on in for a first look at Changed Stars from Diesel Shot. Yes. So this looks kind of interesting. This is a science fiction role-playing game, but it is a game of hope, as far as I understand. So we're going to take a peek at this on Thursday. So tomorrow, we'll dive on in. We'll take a peek at Doomlings. And then on Thursday, Change Stars. Very nice. I should also mention that I currently have in transit, the latest Cults of RuneQuest book, which another review I did was the Glorantha source book for RuneQuest. That was another one that I shared during my hiatus. So I've got that on its way. It looks like we'll have the Paizo releases before the end of the month. So we'll do another Paizo preview live, which also has the new Galaxy Guide for the second edition of Starfinder. So I'm looking forward to catch that. So very cool. Very nice. For tomorrow's show, I will make sure to have this in stereo. Like I said, Windows makes these, updates and then screws up stuff, and you have no idea it's screwed up until you start recording or streaming or what have you. All righty then. That's it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It will not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I share other videos, such as today's review of The One Ring, Realms of the Three Rings from Free League Publishing. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, tip of the cap to you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company while I'm sharing the news or flipping through a book or unboxing a game, what have you. So that is much appreciated. It's also appreciated that all of you out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live, tune in on Memorex and watch any of the over 2,100 videos here on the channel. Thank you very kindly for that. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you much for watching. And until I see you next time, which hopefully is tomorrow, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.